And now, it's Boomer Life, lifestyle discussion designed to make your life more engaging, meaningful, and complete. Celebrating the baby boomer generation, this is Boomer Life on CIL 650.
Welcome to Boomer Life on CIL 650. I'm Joanne Sutton. A well-thought-out plan for your financial future is an integral part of building the life that you want for yourself and for your family. So on Boomer Life today, we're talking about your financial future, and we're talking about it with Jim Doyle. Jim is a senior financial consultant with Investors Group Financial Services, Inc. So Jim, thanks for being here today.
Thanks, Joanne.
So we're asking the question to you, the listener, are you where you want to be financially? If you're unsure or you don't know how to answer this question, it's really not that skill testing, then you might want to ask yourself, what are you going to do about it? Now, I know when we come across certain hurdles in our lives, there are things that we sometimes tolerate and other things we just let slide. But really, when it comes to money and investments, that shouldn't be one of those things that you simply tolerate. So, Jim, you bring up a valid fear for all of us and our listeners. With markets as we've seen them over the past couple of weeks or couple of months, people have to be genuinely concerned about making the right choices or maybe even fearful of making the wrong choice. How do you advise client families that you work with when they're possibly having these moments of uncertainty?
Joanna, I think it's natural when market volatility continues over time. That sense of urgency that you need to do something, well, it grows, okay? Even seasoned investors can be unsure about what or if anything should be done. And at times like this, we want to reach out to the people that we work with and reacquaint them with the soundness of the strategies that we've put in place. Refocus on their goals, and for some families, adjust their portfolios appropriately.
Older and retired investors can profit during weak markets by maybe picking up cheaper investments, but you suggest that they also need to watch out for pitfalls in a declining market.
Declining markets are often painful for a couple of reasons. If you have a shorter time horizon, like many retirees feel about their investments, they may not have the time to recover from equity or stock market downturns.
Well, what about if you're drawing income from a portfolio to support your standard of living in retirement?
Well, that's the other reason. Actively drawing cash from a portfolio that is also declining in value can reduce its sustainability because less of the portfolio is around to recover when the stock market rebounds.
So, Jim, here's the skill testing question. What do you do to encourage your clients to do when they're faced with issues like this in times of volatility?
I think a great place to start is to ask, what are your current monthly needs? Know your numbers. I'm often surprised by folks who don't know what they need to have coming in to support their average monthly expenses. Can you reduce the amount you're withdrawing until circumstances improve? Can you take cash flow from other sources like savings or poor-performing non-registered investments or from your tax-free savings accounts, especially those that might be in cash or in savings?
So here's another one. What do we do if none of those strategies are an option?
Call a financial planner.
So call you.
I like where you're going with this. Consider taking ongoing withdrawals from the least risky investments until market volatility subsides, and then look to rebalance your portfolio to provide consistent cash flow with better managed risk.
So we started talking about some of the pitfalls in a declining market. Can you give us a few more examples?
Another pitfall is buying bargains.
Buying bargains? Well, why would you say that? I thought buying bargains would actually be a good thing.
Well, it is, unless you're bargain hunting without due attention to the downside. When we had the tech wreck in 2000, it took the NASDAQ 15 years to make it back to 2000 levels. As in any market, a good point to keep in mind is that pockets of the markets might be on sale for very good reasons, yet some investments get oversold, and they can be a good buy. You need to do your homework, or work with a financial planner who can help you with this.
So just because something is cheap or affordable or a bargain, it doesn't mean it's good.
Absolutely. Another pitfall to avoid would be going overboard with de-risking.
So what do you mean by de-risking?
Well, that's taking risk out of the portfolio, whether it's equities or stocks, or fixed income or bonds for that matter.
Well, I think most of our listeners relate bonds with safety and security. Are you suggesting that bonds actually have risk attached to them?
Yes, I am. If equity investors can be tempted by low prices on some stocks, the same can also be said for income-seeking retirees. As yields rise, there can be a temptation to want to own more of it. It's at times like these that you may want to remember that the hardest hit bonds have fallen for many of the same reasons that the hardest hit stocks have.
Well, up until last year, I understand markets have offered fairly good returns from equities or stocks, so I can understand why many retirees need them in their portfolios. Do you have any suggestions that might reduce the impact of market downturns over time?
Yes, I do. One that I really like is to rebalance portfolios on a regular basis. When one segment outperforms, you sell some of it, and you look to other asset classes that might represent good value or good future value. This way, you have an opportunity to sell high and buy low as part of an ongoing strategy.
Was that kind of like juggling around the portfolio a bit or rebalancing?
Mm-hmm.
It does sound like solid advice, and I'm sure you hear this all the time, and I'm okay with risk as long as my portfolio is going up.
For too many investors, risk management is really just lip service until they actually experience market risk. It's times like these that you get to see your risk management strategies play out in real time. What's key, I believe, is that when you feel things are out of your control, it weakens your resolve to follow a well-drafted plan. Now is the time if you find out if your expectations have been set properly.
Well, I think collectively we would all like our investment advisors to know what's happening next, but I don't think anyone really knows how things are going to turn out. So what's the best thing you can do or offer up for the clients that you work with in times like this?
Most of the time, the best sources of financial advice or narrative, especially during market sell-offs, are not the ones who claim to have all the answers. It really basically comes down to asking the right types of questions. And if I had one thing that I think is really important to draw upon at this time, I'd want to ask, what is it about your money that's really important for me to know? And I think that helps guide this process a fair bit.
Sounds good. Jim, I think it's during times like these of market volatility, like we've been experienced, that we actually need to think a little more about having that written financial plan. But I don't think most of us even know what it is or what it covers. How do you answer that?
While the term a financial plan is pretty generic, yours shouldn't be. Your plan should be easily adaptable to the constant changes you're bound to encounter in the future and be focused on achieving your long-term life and retirement goals.
So what are the basics that you need to know when starting your financial plan?
Well, this is where the advice of a financial planner can be really invaluable. And I have to suggest, this is going to get a little bit wordy, so I think in general, a financial plan is a comprehensive evaluation of someone's current and future financial state by using currently known variables to predict future cash flow, asset values, and withdrawal plans. And this often includes a budget, and it can include a series of steps or specific goals for spending and saving in the future.
Do you think people sometimes confuse an investment plan with their financial plan?
Absolutely. A financial plan contains an investment plan, but to be comprehensive, it also focuses on making sensible decisions about money, solving foreseeable problems, and building that trust in the future.
Well, it seems like it all comes down to trust. You have to be able to trust that the person helping you with your life savings is providing solid advice, maybe some behavioral counseling, and can actually manage your personal risk accordingly.
Financial security isn't just for good times. I think advisors need to be speaking to investors, offering reassurance as needed, providing actual advice on things that they can do, and see if any course adjustments are required on their financial plan.
So what I'm hearing is that essential conversations need to take place between advisors and clients. Yet another area of essential conversation that seems to get less attention is that of money and families. We've mentioned this before. I know that this is an extremely sensitive subject and one that families often need a helping hand to either start or explore in any amount of detail.
I couldn't agree more. When we talk about families and money, it can be a very emotional subject, open to family conflict and unfulfilled wishes. One of the things my wealthiest clients often share is their desire to leave a legacy to their children.
We hear it all the time.
Unfortunately, for many families, they're unaware that this area of planning can be more involved than originally anticipated. All the best planning is lost if the heirs are not part of the planning initiatives. You know, there's a recent Wall Street Journal that pointed to research amongst wealthy families that 70% of that wealth had disappeared by the second generation and 90% had evaporated by the third.
Do you know why that is? Is that like because of poor investment performance, or is it taxes? That's a shocking statement.
I absolutely agree. Okay, I think the reason had little to do with those types of issues. It's all about the heirs not being appropriately prepared and a lack of trust and good communication. They don't understand their rights, roles, or responsibilities around money. Working with the whole family, I help open those lines of communication.
Well, I'm just trying to think of a picture here. The intent may be to leave money for the next generation, but I think it all comes down to communication. They haven't done that effectively. So do you have a sense that this is common for most financially comfortable families? And how would you help these parents harness that type of parent power and make sure their ducks are all in a row?
It shouldn't be a secret. If you consider that only 36% of wealthy families have told their kids how much they stand to inherit or have made disclosure about what assets are likely involved, families are fearful their kids are not accomplishing all that they can. They're anxious just about how much information they should share and fearful that their kids are going to treat them like an ATM. In our multi-generational approach to wealth management, we talk about the rights, roles, and responsibilities around family money. We're able to help parents have these conversations and involve the next generation through family meetings.
Well, I don't know if you're anything like my family, but every time we went to spend money in our youth, our parents would say, "You're spending your inheritance," which is one of those things. So basically, if 90% of family wealth had evaporated by the third generation, which really is shocking, wouldn't wealthy families seek out help or want to get some help to avoid this type of money stress? They may not even realize that this is what's going to happen.
Joanne, I can't say this enough. When it comes to money-related stress, working with an experienced financial planner and following a plan can truly make a difference. People who work with a comprehensive financial plan feel more comfortable that they're going to meet their goals and obligations.
Oh, thanks, Jim. This is Boomer Life. We're speaking with Jim Doyle today, Senior Financial Consultant with Investors Group. And if you count yourself amongst those that are feeling a little bit apprehensive about your financial future, then I would encourage you to take that first step. Give Jim a call, 604-682-5431. It is a proven fact that people who follow a written financial plan express higher levels of confidence and satisfaction during down markets. So up next, Jim is going to offer some tips on essential conversations that you might be missing with your advisor. And to learn how Jim Doyle can help with your financial situation, just call him or stay right here where you are. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.
Celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.